Welcome back, thanks for tuning in. This is now part 2 for my mini workbench project. In part 1 I had cut and prepped the boards, and with the use of this jig managed to drill some quite accurate dog holes. Now comes the hard part. I have to be able to join these 4 boards together so they form a nice flat even surface, and I want to do it in such a way that there is minimum of effort after post glue up to true these boards up. Now, thanks to a good friend of mine, I do have access to a planer, and I have obviously pre-designed this so that it will fit in there, and he can obviously just run that through and true this up quite easily. But I want to try and do this on my own. I want to be able to, like I said, without minimum fuss afterwards, get this all set up so that it does what I want it to. Now, you saw at the beginning of this video, this L that I had made here was a great clamping system for when the boards were laid flat. But as soon as I try to, turn them on edge, which I'm going to need to do to drill the dowel pegs, it was too wobbly. So I need to be able to make something a little bit more deep. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut more of this off-cut wood that I have that I've been using for pretty much everything, and I'm going to make another 90-degree clamping system that I can clamp those boards to so that they're nice and secure, and I can drill quite accurate holes. Because the problem also with this is I need to drill a number of dowel peg holes, and there's going to be a number of holes in each of the boards. The end boards are just going to have, just one hole for each of the dowel pegs, but the boards that are in the middle, the 2 of them, they're going to have them on either end. So I have to be able to flip this. Each of the boards has to be flipped, so I need to get this as close to the center of each board as possible. As far as whether or not they are in the same dimension lengthwise is not as important, because once this is all done, I can just, if there's a slight difference in lengthwise, I can just trim that off. The other added difficulty I decided to stick onto this is I don't want to use the dowel pegs I've been using all along. They're slightly over a 1/4 inch, and I kind of think they're just a bit too flimsy for this job, so I want to make some more robust dowel pegs, which means I need to drill a deeper hole. And currently the centering systems I have for dowel pegs, well, I don't really want to make an entirely new one, even though I have made a few of them since I first started doing this. I want to use what I currently have, which is set up a system for drilling as centered as possible at the 1/4 inch plus a bit, and then swap out for a much more robust dowel peg. So that's, like I said, that this adds a little bit more to this and makes it so that I need to get this as centered as possible. And then this clamping system, of course, has to be able to hold everything as firmly as possible, so I don't have to actually measure each and every one of these drills. I want to be able to set it in, clamp it, drill the hole, swap, and continue, because I'm going to need to drill, even if I only put 2 dowel pegs per board, which I probably won't go that few, that would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 holes that have to be accurately drilled. And of course, anything beyond that is even more so. So a good friend of mine actually managed to make a few of these. He's just trying out how to make some dowels, and these are really quite nice. Unfortunately, as you can see here, they are not the right size for any of the Forstner bits I have. So it's very easy to just throw this on the lathe and just turn it down, and that's what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to show you how easy this is. This is set up in the lathe. I don't have to worry about this being smooth. All I have to do is just leave the cutting bit where it is, run it across. Actually, I kind of think that the rougher that is, the better. It will hang on to the glue better, and that's it. That's all I need to do as far as turning these down. I'll take this out and then cut it to length on the table saw, shove it back in here, and do it again, rinse and repeat until I have all the dowel pegs I need. And that's, like I said, very easy and quite straightforward. And like I said, this is probably the easiest part of this whole process. Now, as far as the actual centering jig, remember a few videos ago I had made an acrylic version. It's really, really nice. Unfortunately, I have a very curious cat in my house, And every now and then I run across things that I've made on different floors. He tends to take things in his mouth and wander off with them, and I have no idea where that thing got to. So I made this. This is just out of hardwood. I knocked it together in a few minutes. It is as accurate as it needs to be. It's nice that these things are very easy to make. I will probably put it in a drawer somewhere just to avoid issues. So this is just two boards. These are two of the same stock. They're not planed down. They're just rough as is. I'm going to find two sides that match up reasonable. And then I'm going to mark them so that I know which sides are which, just in case there's issues with how to flip these. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shove these in. These are going to be my test. I want to see if this is going to work, because I don't really want to work on the actual boards I've been prepping for all this, because if I mess up, which does happen, of course, I don't want to have to go through the whole process of doing this all over again. So this is nice brass fitting. It is set up for the dowel pegs that I use all the time. It doesn't really matter. I could have made this to any size at all. I didn't want to go to the full size for the Forstner bit because I really wanted to use a drill bit for this, and this is just making it that much more simple to make it as accurate as I can. There you go. Got the hole. Gonna stick it on the mill here. This is all clamped down, trued up to the ways. I'm gonna set this as firmly as I can. And then what I'm going to do is, and this is the reason why I really like milling machines over drill presses, I can just ever so slightly move the bed until that drill bit nice and smoothly falls down the center of that hole. And like I said, that's the nice thing about milling machines that way. I don't really need it to be hopefully as accurate as I am making this, but it's always nice to be more accurate than you need than mess up that way. So I'm going to just adjust this just a little bit here and there until that slides down nice and smooth, no deflection of the drill bit at all in one direction or another. And there you go. That's it. And then swap that out for the Forstner bit, which I've been using for the dowel pegs. And that's all I need to do. So this is, like I said, this is a test. I'm not going to spoil how well this turns out, but depending on how well it turns out, the next step, of course, is to repeat this for all of the 4 boards. And of course, I have to decide how many dowel pegs I'm going to use for each of these. I have cut a number of them, but I'm not sure if that is all I'm going to do. I do have plenty more of that wood, and of course, it's easy to make more on a lathe, so I can just crank out as many as I want. I don't want to get too ambitious with this. That is the problem. If I end up making too many holes, all it takes is just messing up one of them, and then the glue up isn't going to work the way I want it to. There might be some extra pressure on the boards. They may end up warping in time. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to make this too convoluted, but I do want it to be relatively robust because, well, I'm kind of hard on things I make, and if it's not sturdy, I'll end up breaking it somehow. As I mentioned before, I also want to use this as a bench for sitting on because I do an awful lot of drywalling when I'm in a basement somewhere and I don't like kneeling on concrete anymore. So yeah, I need to, like I said, this is going to be a multi-purpose. Also going to be using it in the shop a lot, so it's going to get banged around a lot, and I want it to, last, so I don't have to make any more of it. So there you go. That one's done, and I'm not doing anything with this at all except putting it into the clamping system here, clamping it down firm, and this is how I want it to work. I want it to be able this quick to swap out boards. And then it's just a simple matter now that it's all snug to run the Forstner bit down it. And like I said, if it works, this is nice and easy. And I do like things to be nice and easy. So yeah, I'm going to drill this hole. And then what I'm going to do here is take it over to my improvised bench at the moment, which is just a piece of plywood on my table saw. And I'm going to stick these together and just see how well or how poorly this turned out, because if this doesn't work, I'm going to need to come up with another idea, because like I said, I do want to avoid as much post glue up as possible as far as work goes. There you go. Slide this in. Pop it in the other side. Jam them together. And let's have a look at it. This actually, I said, turned out really, really well. Don't look at the end bit because I said that's not important. I didn't even measure these. I just slapped them together. But that's nice and smooth. Considering the fact that these are untreated boards, that turned out really quite well. So there you go. I can move on to the next stage, which is drilling all the holes for this and gluing my 4 boards together so that I actually have all the surface at least for my mini workbench. And then of course there's a lot more details to come, a lot more things I want to work on. Anyway, leave comments, let me think about all this, and we'll see you in the next video. Oh, and one more thing I want to show you here. Not quite perfectly in the center. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, but I can just feel ever so slightly a rough bit. Anyway, as long as I mark them out properly, it should work out. As I said, see you in the next video, and bye for now.